What up there, cyber friends? Mitty Man, coming at you again from Walker's Music with yet another word for the day. Thursday morning edition, people, we give God all the praise and honor and all the glory. We thank Him for life, health, and strength. We thank Him for as well as it is. I'm going to cut my keyboard on here this morning. We wanted to say this morning that we also want to give a shout out to all the Bible study co-laborers, and we said we hope that all of you doing very well. God is keeping you like He's keeping me. And the title of my video this morning, I want to say straight up off the bat that I might do a couple of more videos today. I got some things that I've been asked to do, and I'm probably going to do a couple more videos, but this one here in particular, I wanted to get out right quick this morning while it was fresh on my mind. And as you see the title that says inspiration versus motivation. And on last evening I was doing a little work with a partner, a music production partner, and we were sitting there talking, and we were talking about different things, and about the enemies to your production, and the reason why we wasn't doing certain things, and certain things wasn't right, this situation wasn't right. And so all of a sudden I was just motivated. Something told me, inspired, I say, because we're going to talk about that a little bit. I said, no. I don't think it's inspiration that we're lacking. It's motivation. And I went on and explained the reason why. Differentiate between the two. And this is what I want to say to my cyber friend today. See, first of all, inspiration is a different. But a lot of times we use those two words interchangeably or synonymously, but they are very different. Inspiration and motivation, very different. The best way I can put it is to tell you like this. Inspiration is that driving force within, whereas motivation is that external force from without that pulls you. So in other words, inspiration is a driving force, whereas motivation is a pulling force. Now I'm going to try to just explain the process. Okay, have y'all ever, if you noticed that anytime there's a crime committed in the law enforcement world, if there's a crime committed, a murder or whatever it might be, the first thing that the investigative officers, they want to do, they want to find all the people, and they will say, let's go and investigate, let's go and interview all the people who had an MO. Well, you know what? MO is the motive. All the one that had a motive. See, this is what this is motivation. Motive is from the root word motive. In other words, that this is what motivated or pulled this person toward doing this act of crime. In other words, was it an insurance policy? They look at it like when it's a mysterious death of someone. They find out, they look at, they investigate, they find out, okay, there was a lot of money involved. There was a great insurance policy involved. Well, what the law enforcement agent want to know is who was the beneficiary. This will automatically give them motive. They had motive to commit the crime, even though they may not have done the crime, but they had motive. This is what motivation comes from. In other words, it's that pulling force that drives us to do things. In other words, like exercise, for instance. We exercise not because we are, say, so much inspired to do so, but it's because of the motive behind it. We want good health, and we don't want to die of a heart attack or a stroke. So therefore, that is the pulling force to make us exercise. Now, if you don't mind dying with those things, you'll sit in this chair like I'm doing every day, all day, lay on the couch and eat everything you want to eat because you don't value health. We want healing, but we don't value health. Now, inspiration, on the other hand, is the driving force from within. It's the reason why we do things, because we are inspired to do so. This comes from within. This is a driving force. This is more of the spirit of your man. In other words, matter of fact, that comes from a Latin word inspire. In other words, inspire, if you want to call it that, it's in spirit. In other words, it's come out the spirit of yourself, of your being. This is what inspiration is. You can get inspiration from hearing a song, or speaker, or another person, or whatever. You can be inspired by an event. A lot of people was inspired. I know I was, in other words, to get into the armed forces after I saw what happened at 9/11. I was inspired not so much as it just gave us motivation to go and become something. In other words, really what did me, what inspired myself is the Panama invasion. In other words, when they were the soldiers, we had this Noriega event during that particular time back in the 80s, in the late 80s. And this here also inspired me. I had that urge and the want to go and defend the country. That was the inspiration. See, so in other words, now you got two sides. There are two different things on both sides of the coin. Inspiration, which is the driving force within that we're in from the spirit. In spirit, that's what inspire. In spirit, that drives us or motivates us. Not motivate, but it's sort of like drives us to do a thing. We are inspired. In other words, that's the fuel that fuels us to go. Okay, we need to. This is what I feel like I want to do. God is wanting me to do this in my spirit, man. I'm fired up and I'm ready. But you got to have the motive. If you don't have the motivation to get moving, your inspiration will die. That is the simplest term that I could put it. A lot of people won't or may be inspired to play. They say they're inspired to play the keyboard. But they're inspired by a chord. But they are not motivated to practice. Now, if you don't have the motivation to sit here every day, discipline yourself to practice so you'll be able to play this thing like it's supposed to be played, you're never going to play it. I don't care how much you're inspired to do so. That is the difference. It's the layman's term. Very simple and basic between inspiration and motivation. So don't think that you are not inspired. Most of the time you are not motivated. And what you need to do is find a reason. Find something that will drive the pulling force that will get you to do what you desire to do. And you will do it. Me and my partner last night, after sitting there and talking about that, and in 15 minutes I had written the track. 15 minutes I had written the track, even though it was something that we was trying to redo. It's an old tune from Malcolm McDonald and the Doobie Brothers called Taking It to the Street. I pieced the music out in the tracks because I kind of know the song, and I pieced it out and did it in 3 sections. There's the 3 sections of that song, the 3 distinguishing sections of that song, and I tracked it out. And then he was sitting there, he was writing lyrics, different lyrics. We're going to redo it. We're going to try not to get in trouble about doing that because we're going to try to seek the people to get the clearance to do that. But I think it will be okay. But we made a gospel out of it. We made a gospel out of it. So you see, in 15 minutes, even though when normally we would have talked a whole hour and a half on Skype and everything, nothing would have been done. We had the inspiration to do it, but still we never did get moving. Motivation is what moves you externally, pulls you to do that you're inspired to do. And if you don't have the two together, you don't have anything. You can be inspired all day long, but until you get motivated and move, nothing's going to happen. Where do you draw it from? Don't sit around and wait for motivation to come. Once you are inspired, that's what you do. You get up and get to moving. Once you're inspired, don't let nobody stop you. Don't let nobody deter you. Start talking foolish talk or whatnot. Get off around them. Get off around them and go by yourself and take out your gift, take out your craft and start working. That was the motivation. That will make you do what you need to do. Don't sit around and wait for motivation to show up like inspiration. It don't happen that way. Motivation shows up only when you open the door. You got to go. You got to actually go into what you're doing. Whatever you're inspired to do, if it gets in your spirit, then you open that door and walk through and go on and open it up and sit down and start doing that what you were inspired to do. That is the motivation, that pulling forth. You will get your desired results. If you sit around and wait for motivation to come, guess what? Never gonna come. Never gonna come. Inspiration comes like that, but not motivation. Motivation is only spark when you get up and move. Motive, M-O, motive. You got to get up and move. In other words, what is my motive? I want to write a good song. I want to write a good song. Motive. So I got to get my butt to the keyboard and get busy. That's the only way to get it done. That's just a little small layman's term. Like I say, people, we're going to come back today with probably a couple of more videos, because I got some stuff that I need to do, even out in the studio. We got some things that we want to get done today. Matter of fact, we're supposed to have Bible study tonight if the weather permits, and I'm hoping that I see some of you that's laborers in the Bible study. But if not, me and the man will carry on as usual, but we are just saying it's much better when you are there. With that being said, this is me, the man, saying whatever you get, and whatever you get into, if God is not in it, it's best you come out of it, because it's going to come to nothing. And like I say, people, be inspired, but get motivated, get moving, and get the job done. Peace. Goodbye.